Today we are looking at the mandate of the missionary. Now, one thing that Jesus said in Matthew 28 verse 18, he said, all power in heaven and on earth has been given unto me. Verse 19, go ye therefore, say go ye, shout it, go ye. Again, go ye. You know that's a theme for this campaign. Go ye therefore and make disciples of all nations. The King James will say teach all nations. Now some versions I know you have will say make disciples, right? Now teach all nations is actually the same word for make disciples. It is all translated from the same Greek word. Now what does it mean to make disciples? What does it mean to make disciples? When we say to make disciples, let me show you that in Matthew chapter 10. Who is a disciple? Who is a disciple? Matthew chapter 10 verses 24. The disciple is not above his master, nor the servant above his Lord. It is enough for the disciple to be as his master and the servant as his Lord. If they have called the master of the house Beelzebub, how much shall they call them of his household? You said the disciple is not above his master and the servant is not above his Lord. Now, this is what it means. It is enough for the disciple to be as his master. So when we say a disciple is a student. A disciple is a student. Somebody who is enrolled in a profession or in a course to learn to master a skill. So for instance, you want to learn a trade like weaving, or you want to become a medical doctor. Now you don't just get up and become a medical doctor, right? How many years will you go to school before you can become a medical doctor? 7 years. What about a teacher? Right now it's 4 years. Okay, even the tailors, they go for 3 years. The seamstresses and the tailors, they go for 3 years. Those that do weaving, they have a number of years. And I think my brother, you were, how many years did you learn for welding? 4 years. Just to be able to be passed out to become a professional welder, so that when customers come, they are sure that in the profession you can do well. So you are given a number of years of training so that you will master a skill or a subject of learning. So when we say a disciple is a student, somebody who has been enrolled to learn a skill, to learn a course. So when Jesus said, go ye therefore and make disciples of all nations, he said, go ye therefore and do what? And make people students, make people learners. And the question is, make people learners of what? What skill are they going to learn? He said, teaching them to observe. Okay, let's go back to Matthew 28 verses 20. Matthew 28 verse 20. Yes, teaching them, let's read it together. Teaching them to observe all things whatsoever I have commanded you, and lo, I am. So teaching them to observe whatsoever things I have commanded you. So what are they going to become students of? What I taught you. So that means the people he was talking to, first of all, were disciples themselves. So Jesus, first of all, discipled them. Now, if you say he discipled them, that means he enrolled them as his students. Do you get that? He enrolled him as learners in the subject which he taught. So as they followed Jesus for about 3 years, Jesus continually taught them. Jesus taught them, and they were learning. And as they were learning, their mind was being reshaped. Their mind was being renewed. They were getting informed. They were getting enlightened. Things that they never knew, they started learning to know them. Okay, they started becoming accustomed to the way Jesus did things. I remember when I was in Obuasi and I was just recently, one man came to the church to nail some things, and I offered to help him. So he kept the nail there and said I should nail it. I would nail it to miss. I'll nail it to go here. They nail it with doing this way. Oh, they just took the thing, bang, 4 times. It didn't enter. Then the man was now laughing at me. The reason is that he is a master in that subject. But if I learn, I will become accustomed to the way it is done. You won't know when I have gotten the skill, because I am a student. Hallelujah. Are we together? Are we together? If you are my disciple, there are two things. You learn what I say and you learn what I do. Right? If you are my disciple, my student, you don't just learn what I say only, but you learn what I do and how I do it. So the disciples of Jesus learned by what he said and by what he did. Let me show you that in Acts chapter 1. Acts chapter 1. So, verse 1. The former treatise have I made, O Theophilus, of all that Jesus began to do and to teach. So Jesus was doing and teaching. He wasn't just only doing, he was also teaching. And it wasn't also only teaching, but he was doing. So if you were a disciple of Jesus, there were two things you were going to learn. You were going to learn what Jesus did and what Jesus said. What Jesus did and what Jesus taught. Hallelujah. Are we together? Hello, are we together? So when Jesus said, a disciple is not about his master, it is enough for the disciple to be like his master. It is enough. So that means that the disciple in his journey, he is journeying to become like the master. He is journeying to become like the master. In what direction? In the direction of how he lives and how he teaches. Okay. So that means if you're a disciple, number one, the purpose of your master becomes your purpose. Okay? Right? The vision of your master becomes your vision. Right? Hello? Now, I am an instrumentalist. I play the keyboard. If I teach you, okay, we have 12 keys in the keyboard. And you say, no, me, I don't feel like we have 12 keys. I feel like we have 15 keys. You will be the worst musician in the whole world. Then I teach you that, okay, when you take the major keys, we have, when you take the keys, we have scales. We have some that are called major scales. And the major scales have 7 notes. I say, no. You can't tell me only 7, but just 7. I can't. 7 is too small. 50. Everything is 50. Will you be able to become a good musician? You won't. Why? Because the body of knowledge to be learned was to be delivered to you. You were supposed to learn. Whatever you knew before, you were supposed to drop it and take what you are being taught. So in the end, what I know is what you are coming to know. I don't know if you get what I'm saying. In the end, what I am doing is what you are coming to do. I cannot say, okay, on the keyboard we have do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do, and say, okay, I agree. But we also have si, fe, fo. Let's add those ones too. In the end, you are going to know what I am teaching you. So it is enough for the disciple to be as his master. Okay. So now let's bring it back to Jesus. If Jesus had disciples, that means they learned from Jesus in two directions, right? By what he did and by what he taught. So by what he did, meaning his purpose, his vision, and his mission. His purpose, his vision, and his mission.